Hello and welcome to another League of Legends commentary. So let's take a quick look at the matchups. So we have Teemo, Nidalee, Fiddlesticks, Graves, and Evelynn. The big problem our team is lacking is we don't have a tank, so champions like Evelynn are going to have a lot of trouble getting in and doing damage, because if she just tries to run in without someone initiating, then the people are just going to focus her down and die. So that's like a problem with our team comp. We don't have a lot of poke either. So mainly what we're going to need to do is kite them. That should be our team strategy, just like all other things being equal. Equal skill levels and things like that. Obviously for a head we don't need like a tank, we could just like dive in on them, kill everyone, but I'm just talking about it from what you should expect in a normal match. So really we need to kite them. I'm pretty good at helping them kite with my silence and my fear, so those are pretty good kiting abilities. We don't also have, I'm the only CC in our team, as you can see. No one else has CC. So we need to basically kite them across their mushrooms. They have a pretty decent poke team with Lux, Easy, Rise, and they also have a couple tanks, so that's really good for them. So Singe can run in, sort of like act like an idiot, and Rise and Easy and Lux can snare and poke us, and then Lee Sin can initiate on us pretty hard. So I'd say they probably have a better team comp than we do, just because of basically what our team does. It's not that our team can't win, but I just pointed out what our team is weak to. So if they don't exploit it, it doesn't really matter, but if they do, which you should expect, the higher elo you are, the more of a difference team comp can make. Now, today I'm playing Fiddlesticks, which is a little different from what I've usually been playing. I've been playing a lot of Xin Zhao, and people have requested other champions, so I'm happy to play other junglers. I like Fiddles a lot. He's a lot of fun to play. He's like a very good ganker. Pre-level 6, he's a little weak to ganking, but he can do some stuff, because at level 4 he's like not bad. He can do a lot of damage with his train, but once he gets level 6, he's a very, very strong ganker. As far as jungling, he is a little bit slower than like your average 80 bruiser, and like clearly not these creeps, but he's still not bad. And the other nice thing about him is that he doesn't take any damage in the jungle, because he can heal back up, so he doesn't need health pots. So that's a really nice advantage on him. I started amplifying to him so that I could do the jungler faster. I could also started the machete, which is certainly another reasonable choice. I like turning the amplifying tone into Kage's pick because he has difficulty farming, so that's one consideration that you can make. I actually don't buy Kage's pick until past the point where it's going to do anything in this game, but amplifying tone can also be turned into Haunting Guise, which is very good on Fiddlesticks. So that's just a couple item considerations for him. As far as runes, I like to get Magic Pen Marks, Move Speed Quints, and Armor Seals and MR per level glyphs. These aren't the optimal rune choices, I would say, but I haven't really done the math on it, so I can't tell you for sure what the optimum choice is. It's not bad though, because having more move speed is always good for a jungler. So those are some utilities and some masteries and runes that are always good. Things that boost move speed. Magic Pen is obviously very good on him, and being a little bit more tanky is also very good, because he fights up in the team fights a lot. Like he can get focused down pretty easily. And I'll try to give you some examples of how to use his skills properly as the game progresses. Alright, so now I'm just trying to power level to level 6. I could try to gank, but there's gonna be a big cost for two reasons. One is that it's a little difficult for me to gank before level 6, because then I have to use my flash to do that. And secondly, here I'm just trying to wait till he goes in for a creep, and then I'm going to go in. So I'm checking this, just waiting for him to push up a little bit more, and then once I see he's pushed up, then I decide to go in. Unfortunately, I misclick, and I I fear a creep. If I had hit the right button, I would have probably gotten the kill there with Ignite and my fear. So that was just a misplay for me. So continuing on, trying to get to level 6 as fast as possible. At any point, I can go back and get Sork Boots. So that's usually the first item I like to rush if I'm not getting, if I'm not kind of behind and need like mana regen or Kage's pick. So those are some considerations. And so I'm just trying to get that as quickly as possible. I don't have quite enough, so I'm going to try to gank again. And he is overextending, so it's good. It's a good time to gank. I'm just going to, walk up, and luckily I was timing this with the creep waves, and he goes this way, so that's fine. He's going to get zoned out from a bit of creeps. So I also am checking to see if he goes here. So if he went there, I could have gotten a kill on him. But unfortunately, that's not happening. So the next thing I'm going to try to do is, again, get to 1100 so I can get my Sork boots. And then also trying to get my Sork boots and get to level 6 as quickly as possible. And also, I need to keep track of the timing. So I'm going to just keep camping this lane. He seems to be overextending a lot, so that's good. It's a little bit more difficult to gank this lane. It's certainly doable, but again, it's more difficult. And just waiting for Evelyn. Evelyn's not a bad ganker. So just Fear, Silence, and then Drain, and it's an easy kill, as you saw there. If it's against someone like Ari or something like that, it becomes a lot more difficult because they can just walk away, or they can use their quick movement mobility bonuses to get away from your ganks. But if it's someone that overextends, doesn't work, he's not a bad ganker, as you saw at early levels. He's just not as good because he doesn't have like a gap closer and a lot of burst. So these are Fiddle's issues, and you just have to play with them, instead of trying to force him to be something that he's not. A lot of times people try to force heroes to take on a role that they can't, and they just make the game a lot more difficult for themselves. Alright, so now I have enough money for my Sork boots, so I get that instead of Kage's pick. The reason I like it a lot is that it gives you a boost to movement speed, which is really important for junglers to increase their GP, their gold generation. The second reason is it lets him do basically true damage with his passive. Fiddle's passive is reduces magic resist of other champions by 10. So this is going to reduce 25 magic resist. So let's see how much MR does he have. He has 41, so it's going to get him down to 16 MR, so that's really good. One problem with Fiddles is he's very blue dependent, so if your mid needs a blue, it can be very difficult for Fiddles to deal with that. Here I'm just going to go to mid and get that farm. I should have gone right away instead of going to Wolves. That was a mistake. You should always, as a jungler, you need to always check where the lanes are to make sure that you're optimizing your XP correctly. It is very difficult to farm with Fiddles, by the way, so I usually use my skills to farm. And as I was saying before, Fiddles is very blue dependent, so he needs mana to farm or like to do his jungle at all, or he'll just run out of mana. So it's very difficult for him to give his blue to mid. So that's just something you should consider. He's a lot better when paired with a resourceless champion like Lee Sin or Akali or something along those lines. As far as ganking, there are a lot of different ways that Fiddles can come in and gank, so it's very difficult to ward against him. Here I see Lee Sin. I was going to go ahead and gank him, but as soon as I see him, I go in and I just drain him for a little bit. If they want to fight me, that's fine. I see that Nidalee's here, so I'm just going to try to fight. And I should have tried to ulti over this wall potentially, but it was a little risky. Positioning his ulti is very difficult, so perfectly. It's easy enough to get a bit of damage, but doing it very well is very difficult. Another thing I suggest on Fiddlesticks is turning your ulti off smart cast so that you can figure out where the range is for it. So for instance, if it's not in smart cast, you might try to ulti over here, which is out of range, and you'll walk up and get vision. So if you can get an idea, so here I know exactly where he is, so I can go ahead and I should have flashed right away too, and just get an easy kill that way. So there you saw I turned off smart cast so I could get the range, and then once he's going in for creeps and stuff like that, you saw he's going in for creeps, then I went ahead and ultied in. Another thing that's very important is trying to position your ulti the right way. So I've seen a lot of times, and I certainly do this a bunch in this game, is that you'll ulti in and then just go for one target instead of trying to position yourself in the middle of the team, and that's not what you want to be doing. You need to act like Karthus in that you need to put yourself in the middle of the team fight, so they have to spread out and you do maximum damage. His ulti does tons of damage, so it's very important that you position him properly and pay less attention on getting his drain off in the late game. So basically, as I said a second ago, you need to, so for instance, like, you need to make sure you're moving and not draining, because draining makes you stay still. So that skill is like a little bit of a problem in combination with his ulti. And as far as like single target people, it's fine to try to position a little bit and then do the rest of the damage with drain. What else for Fiddlesticks? Oh, okay. So with his ulti, make sure you Q the most important target right away, so that he can't run away, and then cast E also right away. So as far as like what you should be doing here, I'm just gonna try to ulti in on Lee. So you have to. He's really good at brush ganking, as you can see. He can just walk up, and then when they go in on him, you can just ulti. See, what's my cooldown? It's up. So I'm just telling them, all right, we can ulti, and Rise tries to fight. So here, this is a case where I Q and don't keep in mind keeping track of my ulti. Here is another thing that I'm doing, is that I walk with the champion, and that's very useful because if you walk with them, and I should have done a couple autos as well, you can basically stay in range until your fear comes up, and then once you turn on the fear, you cast. So you walk. So let's say he's running away. I don't use any spells or abilities or autos. I just keep walking with him until my fear comes off of cooldown, and then I try to use all my combos. A great thing also about Fiddles is that he can get Dragon without taking any health loss, as you can see right here. So he can tank Dragon for your whole team and really secure early Dragons. He can get, you know, level 5, level 6 Dragons, which is like way earlier than most other champions. And he doesn't need any items, like he doesn't need a Wriggle's Lantern to do it. Alright, so continuing on, the first item I want to get with Fiddles often is the Zonias, which is a great item. It really lets you be less cautious about positioning his ulti, because Wriggle's Lantern makes you invulnerable for like 2 or 3 seconds, but the ulti stays on. So that's why it's such a great item on Fiddlesticks. Plus it gives him useful stats. It also gives him a lot of AP. I think it gives him 80 AP and a good amount of armor. So it's really quite a good first item to rush on Fiddles. Other considerations are obviously Death Cap, which is, you know, boosts your damage a lot, and also reducing MR is also very good, because you're going to be up in their face in the middle of the team fight, so the MR is going to reduce a whole bunch of people. Haunting Guise is also another good choice, which can be turned into Leandries later on. I haven't been ganking top, as you saw, for a couple of reasons. Singe can actually run away from Fiddles pretty easily, because he's pretty fast. He doesn't have any speed boost, but he can run away. And the other reason is that Teemo has a natural advantage against Singe, so that's why I haven't been ganking him as much as I've been ganking Rise. Because Rise has a natural advantage against Eve early game. So that's just what I'm doing. Here's another spot. So you can, if the enemy's pushed up, or for instance, if we were on red side, if we were on purple side, that is, and blue was at the tower, you can gank right here, where I was right there. Or if this guy's pushed up, you can gank here and jump over the tower, and that's really great because you can avoid these wards and he won't know it's coming. As far as another consideration, Fiddles is a lot stronger when he has his ulti up. His flash in conjunction with his ulti, because it really lets him position his ulti very easily. Alright, as far as the things that we need to do in this game, we really need to just close it out. So we're very far ahead, we're up 5k gold, and it's only 14 minutes in. So that means we need to just keep pushing in turrets and not get picked off by fighting like fights like this. Like, we don't want to fight 2v4s, because we've got a huge advantage and we just need to capitalize on that advantage to win. So again, you know, getting kills like this, I'm just going to ulti over this wall probably. Yep, so I just ulti over the wall and go ahead and get an easy kill like that. Make sure I'm positioning with my Stormcrow, and just what we need to do again is get all these turrets down. We don't need to do Baron or anything like that. We just need to focus down all the turrets and just continuing to extend our advantage. We should also be grouping up. We don't need to be fighting risky fights. And I thought Singe was gonna, run back this way because there's no way he could win that fight, but instead he ran in. So that's why I flashed before, although it was a wasted flash because he ran into us for some reason. All right, so now I'm gonna go ahead and get Zonia's. It's also quite good when you're ahead because it just means that they can't kill you as easily as in a team fight. You could also consider getting Rabadon's Death Cap. That's another possibility. And I also get Kage's. I didn't need to get Kage's. It's okay. I wouldn't. It's like pretty late to get Kage's, so like you're probably not going to get that much gold out of it. And the items that it builds in, it doesn't build into a Death Cap anymore. So that's another reason to consider avoiding Kage's. I probably should have gone for Haunting Guides instead of Kage's here. So it's just not going to generate that much gold. All right, so I'm going to get blue again. It's it's not bad on Evelyn, but it's also quite good on me. And let's see who's more. I'm actually more farmed than Evelyn is, so I would say it's probably better on me. You shouldn't just mindlessly give the carry all the item, or like all the blues, just because you think it's a good idea. And here I'm just trying to position myself, so I'm going to slow this fight down a little bit. I'm trying to set it up so my ulti can get a bunch of people, and so that they can't interrupt it. So you really need to be aware of your positioning with Fiddles. If you, let's say if I ulti like right here where you can see me, he can just kick me back and interrupt my ulti. So that's why I'm not, using my ulti in, trying to use it in the ideal situation. There, you saw my reflexes were a little bit slow, and I didn't use my my fear in time. I think we probably could have gotten a kill if I had used it in time. So again, I'm just trying to position here so that I can get an easy kill. It doesn't even matter if it's a 3v2 at this point. We're so strong that we can win this. And here I misposition a little bit, and I'm just gonna wait until they start going on Teemo, and then I'm just gonna try to ulti in. So here we see that Singe is actually probably trying to go in pretty hard. So I'm just gonna run up, try to use a fear, and then if I need to, I'm gonna use my ulti as soon as they go hard on Teemo. Luckily he dodged that. That would have been really bad if he missed it. Teemo didn't need to flash that slow. And here, as I said before, you need to make sure you position right. So I go into this bush before I use my ulti. That's really important. And I go in, and I don't use my abilities the right way. So that's just unfortunate. If I had positioned the right way, then I would have gotten a kill. And another thing is that you need to make sure you're using your drain. So I should have make sure that you use your drain. It's very, very effective and very strong. It makes it very difficult for them to kill you in one-on-one fights. So we had an easy win. Even if Evelyn hadn't come, we would have won that fight. And now we're just going to continue trying to finish this up. Push in the turrets. So going to get these turrets here and just secure a win. We don't need to do anything crazy. We don't need to try to do Baron off this. We just need to, keep pushing our advantage until we win. It's like in StarCraft, like when you're ahead, you don't need to do all sorts of weird strategies to try to get yourself further ahead. You just need to keep, capitalizing on your advantage so you can push further and further ahead. You see, even our supports are stronger than them now. If you have blue buff, you definitely want to keep topping yourself off if you ever get low. You don't want to do this to the extent where you have no mana, but if if I was kind of low after that fight, I definitely should use blue buff. If you're running away from someone, you want to maximize the length of your CC, and the way that you do that is you use your Q right away because it has the shortest range. So let's say this guy Singe is running right at me, right? The first thing I want to do when he comes up close to me is use my Q on him. Then after Q is about to wear off, if he's still what the Q does is he moves randomly. So if the Q, moves in an unfavorable way, then what I want to do is use my E as soon as my Q wears off. Don't press Q and then E right away if you're trying to get away. Here's a big mistake that a lot of people make is they chase Singe when they can't catch him. Here you just have to accept that you cannot get him and not chase him. If he wants to go back in and like that and just die, or he should have died there, but do stuff like that, that's fine. But do not chase, I don't need to be chasing him like this. And unfortunately his Ignite was up. I could have definitely survived that, but that's okay. I just messed up a little bit. But luckily our team, he doesn't go that way, so our team gets an easy kill off on Singed. Alright, so again, we need to group up, and I'm telling my team to do this. We don't need to be like diving past their turrets to try to get more kills. All we need to do to win this game is just get these turrets down. Get the last turrets down. You know, we've been putting pressure across all the maps, so Graves was able to take this turret. We don't even need to do Baron. We're like pretty low. Graves does a fair amount of damage, but you know, they don't have enough AoE clear to really stop us from doing Baron. Sorry, from pushing in these turrets. So what we need to do, as I said a second ago, is just push in this turret. The next thing I'm gonna get is Haunting Guys. This is obviously not like optimal build choice, but it's certainly a reasonable build choice. Like, you know, you just have to look at what the other team has built and what items are particularly good on him. Wow, Nidalee actually does a lot of damage. She doesn't have any items, so that's pretty interesting. But yeah, so I'm just saying, okay, let's just group up, just take this turret down. It's going to be easy. We're really far ahead of them. Even our support is like as high level as anyone on their team, except for Singed, who's their like top solo lane. So that's just what we need to do. We just need to group up and then secure this victory. We don't, like, Evelynn doesn't need to do this. She doesn't need to dive past the tower. That was an easy kill for her. But like, if that was a little more risky, then there was no reason for her to like just not wait for the team. So just be patient when you're ahead and secure your victories. Alright, so I hope you enjoyed this replay. It's a different jungler. Tell me what you think of Fiddlesticks if you want more with Fiddlesticks or different junglers. I do have a bunch of junglers that I like to play and I'm not bad at, so I'm happy to play other junglers. And don't forget to rate, subscribe, and comment. That helps me out a lot.